It's a Thursday, and you know what that means. Keys to victory as Texas is set to take on the Vanderbilt Commodores in the friendly confines of Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium at 11 a.m. on Saturday. We're going to be talking about what we think the keys to victory are against Diego Pavia, Clark Lee, and crew. First, let's tell you about our great presenting sponsor, the Man Eye Institute. See life better at the Man Eye Institute. 1-844-WOW 2020 is how you can get them. The Man Eye Institute is your leading resource in Central Texas for all your LASIK needs, all your vision needs, cataracts, whatever it is. They have the next level LASIK there that you can only find in 2 places across the whole country. So we're very lucky to have them, and lucky to have them as a presenting sponsor. See life better at our great presenting sponsor, the Man Eye Institute. Of course, we have to remind you about the Alpha Seasoning, the best seasoning there is, the king of all seasonings. Product of Texas, product of Spicewood, made in Texas, developed by Cody and I over the course of the last year. Thanks so much to everybody that's been sending us photos on X and on Orange Bloods and everything for the different recipes you've been using this on. But you can use it on anything from like salmon fillets to chicken to steaks to burgers to deer to quail, dove. You can put on macaroni and cheese or salad or anything like that. Use the code SPOOKY20, get 20% off. Again, we're losing money on this, but we want you to get the seasoning in your hands. That is alphaseasoning.com is where you go. Use the code SPOOKY20 to get 20% off through Halloween. All right, Cody, a bunch to get to today. My first key to victory here, whenever we talk about the Vanderbilt game, I got a bunch, man. And there are some that you think about and you're like, well, with the lack of news we were given today from Coach Sark about Arch Manning's availability and about Michael Tapp's availability leaves some questions about exactly what some of the keys are going to be offensively. But I do think from a defensive standpoint, clearly a key to victory is to contain Diego Pavia and not let that guy squirt out with his legs, not let them get into third and manageable situations to where he can pick up. And I just feel like with Pavia, dude, he's a tough runner. He can churn his legs. He can fall forward. I just think that against those guys, against that offensive line, it's a weird offensive line with how they handle things. I think that a 3rd and 3 for Vanderbilt is going to be a harder 3rd and 3 to defend than against your average team.
I don't think you're wrong. The thing is, I talked about it a little bit on the Prize Picks show in talking about predictions, and I don't know if you have yours yet, but I think this thing's going to be a slow rock fight that not slow in the aspect of time. I think in time fashion, it's going to be a fast game, but slow in the aspect of running the football. Both teams heavily trying to run the football because that's one way that you can build success against Vanderbilt. And I think that we saw Missouri do that. Ahmad Hardy averaged almost 5 yards per carry, almost got to 100. We saw Alabama finally get a run game going against Vanderbilt. And I think both of those games that you look at from Missouri and Alabama, they both did one thing well. And that was they had the athleticism and the talent at the edge position, the linebacker position to cage and contain Diego Pavia. And so for the same reasons that you say that you think one of the keys to victory is to contain this run game and to control this run game and to kind of play at your own pace, I think that's a massive key to victory in this one is just that. Like Colin Simmons has to have a big game. Anthony Hill has to have a big game. We know that Ethan Burke has to have a big game, but there's the middle component as well, where we've talked about Harold Canoe, Murad Watson, Cole Brevard have been amongst the best in the country from a pressures perspective from the interior defensive linemen. And that is coming together as a one. And last week, again, you talked about how many plays they played. We went to the defensive deep dig, and it was a lot last week, and it was tough. There was 17 drives that Texas had on offense last week, and that was the most they've had all season. And then the week before that, it was 13, 14, and 10 the last 4 weeks. And that's tough. That's backbreaking for a defense that Vanderbilt wants to do the opposite. Vanderbilt wants to play you in a 9, a 10, an 8 drive game. And I think that helps this defense. And the way it helps this defense is it allows rest. And I think that allows Harold Canoe and Cole Brevard, Murad Watson to have big games. And so for my key to victory is for this defense to play as a cohesive unit, because Vanderbilt's going to give you the opportunity to dominate them with the athleticism. I mean, we saw that in the Alabama game.
It isn't. I mean, look, dude. It's like we've talked about this a million times, but it isn't like the Texas defense can't just pop off and look like one of the best defenses in the country. It's one of the most talented defenses in the country, and you're like, well, how can one of the most talented defenses in the country let Mississippi State put up 38 points on them? It's like, well, whenever they're out there for 89 plays, it's like it's just really hard. There are going to be some, there going to be some where it doesn't go well. And whenever I did the defensive deep dig, I was like, if you look at the efficiency trends for the defense for across the vast majority of these players, you have guys coming on board like you have guys like Alex January is finally coming online. Like Hero Canoe had his biggest contribution as a Texas Longhorn this last week. Lance Jackson had his biggest contribution as a Longhorn this week. Anthony Hill went into complete God mode. Jelani McDonald goes in. I mean, look, if he's going to be out there for 89 plays and he's I guess he wasn't the leader. I guess Manny Muhammad played all the plays, but Jelani McDonald played almost all the plays. And if he's going to be out there for that long, he's a guy that needs to be racking up like 14 tackles or whatever it was that he had. There were all kinds of guys where you just saw, dude, Colin Simmons with the like 3 pressures, 2 quarterback hits, all kinds of stuff like this, right? But over the course of the game, even though there's the good efficiency that's happening with even on a per snap basis, right? Like even like per snap, like still Anthony Hill's efficiency is creeping up, and it had one of its biggest jumps after this last game, even with all the trailing data from before. But with that being said, you're out there for 89 plays, and there's going to be the one play wherever Manny Muhammad gets cooked by Brennan Thompson, or the one play wherever Jelani McDonald gets a little bit frustrated and pushes the guy out of bounds and tacks on 15 extra yards. And, the stupid little impromptu little shovel pass from Blake Shapen to Devon Booth to where
Travion Henderson PTSD.
It was going to be nothing, right? But then, yeah, it totally did it remind you of that play? It reminded me a ton of that.
Like, what are you doing? What's happening?
It was the pursuit angles of everybody. You said, how can they be taking such bad pursuit angles? Because Devon Booth is not that good a runner. He's not that fast. So at least I don't think so. I could have to eat my words if he runs a 4.3, 4 or something.
No. I don't think that's
but he doesn't appear to be that fast or particularly shifty to me. Regardless, those things are going to happen when, even in a game wherever the efficiency is ticking up for guys and contributors that are now popping up, right? One of my keys to victory is, like you said, Clark Lee wants to do it. Sark has said it all week. What do they want to do? They want to limit possessions. They want to take the air out of the football. They want to they want to out physical you. And yeah. I think I mean, I don't necessarily think that that's some kind of insurmountable thing for Texas to say, like, all right, we'll take you up on that offer. It's, we'll take you up on that. We got some pretty physical guys too. We got some dogs. We got some culture here. So I think the way you counter it, and this is my key to victory, is that if the possessions are limited and you aren't getting as many plays on defense as you had before, it's time to you have to take full advantage of every snap. You have to no letting up, none of this stuff wherever you let one of these plays slip through the cracks. It's like every single snap is something where there's intentionality to it, and it's 100% hair on fire. And I from what I'm hearing from practice this week, it was another week where they were maybe a little bit easier on the defense than maybe just on the team, but specifically on the defense. Just saying, like, man, we need to get you guys right for this week. Good focus, intentionality, physicality, and just get off the field, because it can't be another. It can't be another one of these track meets.
The one
But the thing is, Vanderbilt doesn't want it to be a track meet.
They won't. I mean, that's the. So I brought this up yesterday. I'll just say it. I don't care. My prediction was 15-13, and it's going to be a game. And maybe the most interesting thing I have that I'm looking forward to in this game is how does Vanderbilt come out? Because they're not an explosive team. They're a team that I have it written down here. I didn't post it on the site, but their explosives by game. Oh gosh, how many sheets back did I go? I think it was like they haven't had a single pass attempt over 40 yards this season. They haven't been one of the most explosive teams. They've had some explosives, but it's been like one run, one pass, two runs, three runs, no passes. Like they're very low in the explosives perspective of the game, but they always bust one run, right? And I think that's the inverse. Like I don't think they're going to be trying to break your defense. They should take chances. Like there should be some trick plays. There should be a fake punt. There should be a reverse pass. Things like not those exact things, but things like that. I anticipate from a Vanderbilt in a game like this because like it's going to be low. Like I said, it's going to be 8, 9, 10 drives. But from the offensive side of the football for Texas, in a situation where, again, Wisner seems to be getting it every week that goes by, he's as healthy as he's been this year. Same thing goes for Baxter. He's been so inefficient as a runner. Everybody has this back.
Are you talking?
Trey Wisner.
We don't know if Baxter's better every week because he's only been back for 1 week.
Every week from now, he should be healthier. He should be the healthiest he's been all year as the weeks go by, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Same with Wisner. Wisner to a bigger extent because Wisner's only had the one injury, yada, yada, whatever. Wisner's 74th in breakaway run rate this year, 45th in yards after contact per attempt, 77th in yards per carry, and everybody else on the roster is equally as bad, if not worse, at every one of those categories. They need to establish a run game. They need to have a run game, especially if there's no Arch Manning, because they're going to key on that, and they're going to make Matthew Caldwell beat them because it's just innately they're not going to have as good of a connection with Caldwell as the receivers have had with Arch. You need to have explosive, though, on offense if Texas is going to be able to hang into this game. They've had explosives. They've gotten the ball to Wingo last week 3 times. He's the leader on the team in explosive plays. Parker Livingstone, though, he's on a per-touch basis for explosives. He's been one of the top ones on the roster. Jordan Washington at the tight end position has been kind of a sleeper, right? He's tied for 3rd right now in explosive plays on offense.
Is he?
4 opportunities per explosive is the best on the team this year. So last year, Matthew Golden was 3.79 opportunities per explosive. Gunnar Helm was 4.31. Jordan Washington's 4 opportunities per explosive. He's had 12 opportunities at the 3 explosive.
Well, he just hasn't had near as many opportunities as those guys.
He's made the plays when he's gotten the ball. And we know, obviously, they've had, but that's more than, where's Endries on this list? Endries has, oh my gosh, where even is he? He's got 2 explosives on 24 opportunities. So he's got twice as many opportunities and 1 less explosive play. The point is, guys like Livingston, guys like Mosley have had explosive plays in limited opportunities. We need to continue to see those guys mature and grow and get opportunities. I think Mosley has. Washington has kind of been iffy since the beginning of the year, but Livingston needs to get back in here. I know he got banged up against Florida, and he seemingly hasn't been the same since. Getting explosive plays on the offensive side of the football, controlling the line of scrimmage, and controlling everything. And just like with the defense, the offense equally needs to be efficient with or without Arch Manning.
I mean, Livingston had 2 touchdowns last week, didn't he?
I'm talking about from an explosive perspective. He hasn't been downfield explosive the same way he was earlier this year.
Well, I think he had the one versus Kentucky, didn't he? Didn't he have 1 versus Kentucky?
He had 1 against Ohio State, 2 against San Jose, 1 against UTEP, 1 against Florida, 1 against Oklahoma.
Oh, was it so? Okay.
21-yard reception against Oklahoma.
Okay. Huh. I thought. Okay. I must be misremembering that. Yeah, for sure, dude. I totally agree with. I mean, explosives are. It's that text that you sent me about the comparing the explosives from, I don't remember exactly what it was, but I was like, damn, man, that's actually really, really telling. And it's what coaches will always tell you that, one of the first things they always talk about is, don't get behind the, it's the win the turnover battle. Don't get behind the chains, win time of possession, dominate the middle eight, win the explosives. It's like, coaching. It's like coach speak 101, but like it comes. It's because it's true. I just have one question though for you, Cody. You said your score prediction was 13-10. Is it
15-13.
15-13? Is that 15-13 Vandy or is that 15-13 Texas?
That's 15-13 Texas.